All right. Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the Climate Podcast. I'm here with my co-host.
Brahim Zahadan. Hello, everyone.
And basically, what me and Ibrahim are going to try and do is deliver a basketball podcast. You know, everyone talks sports with their friends, with their cousins, with their families, and they always say we should do a podcast. We're trying it out. Why not? So if you're watching the video, comment down below if you want to be included. We'll write your names down, and hopefully we'll eventually get to you guys. So this is our introductory podcast, our pilot episode, if you may. A little bit about myself. My name is Jameer, and I like basketball. My favorite player of all time is Derrick Rose.
My name is Ibrahim. I also love the game of basketball. And my favorite player, as you can see, is the German GOAT, Dirk Nowitzki.
Dude, I'm wearing my CPSA basketball. Oh, you can't see it. CPSA basketball jersey. Anyone from CPSA watching, let me know. Number 50 is forever goated. No one can ever wear that number. Funny story, I actually wore number 50 because of Ibrahim over here. When I was in middle school and he was in high school, he wore number 50. So I'm like, I'll just wear that number. Oh, wow, you had that ready. I didn't know you had
I literally have it on my, you can't see.
Put it in front of your face. Yeah. It's a little better. We can see it.
Yeah, I had it in my laundry basket, so I wasn't, prepared. But, yeah, go to number.
For real. Okay. So let's just start things off. We'll jump right into it. We are going to talk about some of the current news in the NBA. You guys might expect us to talk about James Harden. We're probably going to save that for a different episode. Maybe when we have a guest on, we could talk more in depth with that, see what you guys think. But we're going to be talking about some early NBA predictions. So Ibrahim, you can start us off, introduce everyone what kind of predictions we're going to be talking about.
So we're going to have Rookie of the Year, Most Improved Player of the Year, obviously MVP, and DPOY, Defensive Player. So let's start off with Rookie of the Year. I think we both can agree the obvious guess will be LaMelo. But Patrick Williams has been looking nice. He's been getting a lot of praise from guys like LeBron and Kawhi, and he's not afraid to guard the best player on the team. So those would be – and Wiseman, the guy from
Golden State.
Golden State, yeah. He's been looking nice. He seems like his game's developed, and having a guy like Draymond next to him, I think his game's going to go to another level.
Yeah.
What do you think?
For sure. I mean, right now, I think LaMelo Ball is definitely the lock. I think he's the lock, and I'm saying this as a Bulls fan. I love Patrick Williams. He definitely shows that he has some Kawhi potential. I mean, he plays like him. LeBron has had high praise about him. I think it was Kawhi who also had high praise about him as well. Yeah. He is what keeps us generally locked in defensively for the Bulls. But I do think LaMelo Ball, his passing is ridiculous.
And it's crazy.
I actually saw a hot take I wanted to ask you about. Someone said, I mean, now that I think LaMelo's played about 12 games in the NBA by now, someone said LaMelo Ball has improved more in 10 and 12 games than Ben Simmons has his whole NBA career. What do you think?
It's hard to say, if we're talking based off of stats and shooting and whatnot, probably. I don't have all the numbers and things like that, but I think they're two totally different players. Like Ben Simmons is more like a ground and pound type of offense. He's a bigger guard. He rebounds the ball a lot better, defends the ball a lot better. So it's hard, but I think it's you can make a case for that.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say was, so you were saying how he's like Kawhi. Like LeBron even said he reminds me of Kawhi with those long arms. He's like, as soon as I got up and close to him, his hands are so big. It reminded me of Kawhi. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like I said, he has some time to develop. I mean, he just turned 19. He's probably the youngest out of these four. I mean, Anthony Edwards, he's been playing solid for Minnesota, but James Wiseman is someone you need to keep an eye on. I think the best two people in this rookie class, LaMelo Ball and James Wiseman. I think Patrick Williams is going to be a sleeper. Anthony Edwards, probably going to be a solid NBA player. But we'll get into a more important MVP discussion. And by the way, about the LaMelo Ball thing, I do think LaMelo Ball has improved more in 10 games than Ben Simmons has his whole career. I mean, plain and simple, I choose LaMelo Ball over Ben Simmons any day of the week. But anyway, we'll move on from that.
Yeah.
MVP. So I have some names written down. We have Curry, LeBron. I wrote down Bradley Beal because he's always good, but the team never does anything. I wrote down Levine because he's good, but his team never does anything. Luka, Giannis, Embiid, and Chris Paul.
I think it's safe to say that Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine are not going to be in that top 3 MVP race. It's going to be the Currys, the LeBrons, the Giannis's, the Lukas. I was saying CP3 because, dude, that Suns team is scary. Very scary. And we all know CP3 has taken average teams to the playoffs and done surprisingly well. So what do you think? Who's your MVP candidate?
Right now, I actually think it's Curry or LeBron. I think Curry always has a higher chance of getting it than LeBron simply because of the media. I mean, I think if the NBA was fair, quote unquote, I think LeBron would win almost every single year. But the introduction of the media has changed who is voting for MVP. It really changes people's minds. It changes the way people vote. It has changed literally everything. So because the media likes Steph Curry more, I think he has a higher chance of getting voted in. I mean, he's taking a pretty garbage Warriors team and he's scoring at will. I think it's ridiculous. I mean, they're already at 500. They're 6-6 now. They started off pretty bad. They were probably at the bottom of the Western Conference. Now they're in 11th place, but they're tied with the Thunder, Grizzlies, and the Nuggets. And they're only like a half game behind the Spurs for 7th place. So, I mean, the Western Conference is still up for grabs, but the Suns with Chris Paul, that team I think is so evenly spread out. Scary. I think Devin Booker might have a higher chance of getting it just because I think he's still doing most of the scoring, but everyone on that team is going crazy. They're working as a cohesive unit, and it probably is because of Chris Paul. I mean, remember what he did last year with the Thunder?
Yep.
They had a 0.5% chance of making the playoffs, and he still brought them in. Which leads me to another player on their team, Mikal Bridges, who we're going to talk about in the most improved category. So yeah, my lock for MVP is Curry. So you want to talk about the MVP candidates?
MIP, you mean?
Yeah, MIP.
But before we move on to that, I just want to say, it's obviously a safe bet to go with the Curry, LeBron, right? Those guys. But touching on the Suns real quick, I think what's also helping them win is like, look how the overall organization's built. Everyone says they have the best training staff, so everyone's like healthy most of the time. Their coach, I forgot his name, but he was with CP3 in Charlotte when he first played for them. I forgot his name.
Monty Williams.
Yeah, Monty Williams, exactly. Yeah. And then also, what's that shooter that goes with LeBron everywhere he goes? Jones.
James Jones.
James Jones. He's like an exec in the Suns front office. So they've all been like, putting that team together. They got Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges. But yeah, moving on. MIP. Christian Wood, his story just alone is insane. Like,
for those who don't know, you want to tell the story about what happened to him on the draft?
So essentially, he didn't get drafted, and his girlfriend dumped him. His thought of a girlfriend dumped him. His gold-digging girlfriend dumped him. Didn't believe in the grind. He apologized to his mom because he thought he was a failure, and then he was bounced around from a bunch of teams. I think last year he was with the Pistons, right?
I think he was. Yeah.
He heard about him here and there on the Pistons, and then he ends up signing like a $40 million contract with the Rockets this year, which is crazy.
Yeah, 3-year, $41 million with the Houston Rockets.
Insane. So, and then he's not just like, he's backing it up too. He's like, he's putting up good numbers, and then having John Wall on your team, like, that's just icing on the cake, to help you play better. So that's my MIP. Him or the sleeper, Brandon Ingram, but we don't really need to explain that one. We all know Brandon Ingram's a beast.
Yeah. Brandon Ingram is truly one of the most slept-on players in the NBA. But talking about Christian Wood for a second, I mean, he went from 13.1 points per game to 23.2 points per game. He went from 0.9 blocks to 1.9 blocks. Steals remained just about the same. He went from 1 to 1.4 assists. I mean, this guy is ridiculous. And another person I wanted to talk about is Mikal Bridges on the Suns. There was a crazy stat that I wanted to pull up. It was his 3-point percentage. He went from 36% 3-point shooting to 45% 3-point shooting. I mean, this guy is crazy. He went from 9 points a game to 15 points a game. He truly is
impressive.
Dude, he's one of the biggest reasons that the Suns team is the way it is. He's like as role player as it gets, you know?
Yeah. It's always nice having a high flyer like that and be able to like shoot the ball. Keeps the defense on edge. So that's he's really expanded his game.
Yeah. Defensive player of the year candidates. 1 second. Let me pull up the list real quick. So
go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry.
you go ahead.
No, go.
Okay, so obviously we always have to talk about Giannis and AD.
Yep.
Those people are pretty much in the discussion every single year. But what do you think Gobert is going to do? I mean, he just got absolutely destroyed by Shaq in the media. He's saying he doesn't deserve his contract. Do you think he's going to step up this year?
I mean, Shaq. The thing with Shaq's comments is he was slightly throwing shade, but at the same time he was like, "Yo, good for you." Mm-hmm. He wasn't like saying he doesn't deserve it, but he wasn't saying like he's an all-star caliber player that could drop 20 and 10. He basically said something like, "This gives hope to little kids that you can get however many rebounds a game and get paid this crazy amount." Obviously, he won Depoy was it last year? Yeah, he won Depoy.
I think
right? He won Depoy last year.
It was last year, the year before, one of those 2 years.
He won it. And even if he didn't win it last year, he still won it last year because he shut down the whole league. So that alone counts as being defensive player of the year with the whole corona and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I think Depoy this year, I don't think it's going to be a big man. I think it's going to be a guard or a wing player, like a Jimmy Butler or a Kawhi type.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen.
That makes sense.
But the obvious bet is Anthony Davis and Giannis because they're always in the run.
I think what ends up happening is for Defensive Player of the Year, there's always some random new candidate that comes out. Like last year, it was Bam Adebayo. I remember at one point, like early on in his career, it was like Hassan Whiteside. He came in out of nowhere.
Yeah,
disappeared from the face of the earth. No one ever talked.
Man got paid and didn't want to do anything anymore.
He got his 2K rating up. Remember that video?
Yeah.
He got his 2K rating up and he just dipped. Whatever. That stuff makes me mad. I don't understand. Hold on. What really makes me mad is Ben Simmons. Okay, how do you get paid all that money and you aren't in the gym every single day perfecting your free throw?
One word.
Your shot.
I got one word for that. I got one word answer.
What?
Jenner.
The Kardashian curse is real.
Kardashian curse is real, bro.
There was, Chris Humphries. You had Reggie Bush. You had Lamar Odom. That man got hit the hardest. That
man was a beast. He was like one of the best players that could have started on any team and said he's like, nah, I'll be a role player coming off the bench. Yeah. He did his part, man.
Devin Booker. The only two players I know that actually improved after being caught with a Jenner are Devin Booker and James Harden.
James Harden, yep.
James Harden had like a 2-week stint with Khloe Kardashian just because he tried it out, I guess. I don't know what it was.
He said, let me see what the hype's all about.
Yeah. I mean, even Kanye, bro. I mean, you hear the stuff about Kanye?
Kanye. All right, moving on.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't bring up Kanye. Oh, yes. All-star sleepers. LaMelo.
Yep.
Levine, who shouldn't be a sleeper, he should be a lock. But
he should have been an all-star last year, but I think because the Bulls are so cheeks last year they were so cheeks, which is annoying to me, man. But Kornisovas is making changes.
Oh yeah,
trusting Kornisovas
for real. Who else? Oh, Siakam. So the Pacers are not doing well at all. Sabonis.
Speaking of the Pacers,
dude.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say Siakam he was an all-star either last year or the year before, so he's not really a sleeper.
he was an all-star last year. His points and everything have taken a small dip. But he is putting up still some decent stats, but pretty much all of his main stats have dipped. I mean, was it points, blocks, steals, assists has gone up by like a little over like about 1.5, but everything else has gone down, and it's been showing in the Pacers' performance. Everyone makes fun of him because he needs more in his bag. What do you think? Because he always goes to his spin move.
Siakam?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that, and he also needs to be more aggressive with the ball. Like, he needs to take it to the hole. He needs to play like a big man. We're going to talk about this later, hopefully, but the big man has changed a lot, and I'm more of like the traditional. I like watching the traditional big man, like post you up, post fade, sky hooks, baby hooks, those type of things, bread and butter post moves. So I think once he works on that, he's going to be a lot better. That's why I think Sabonis is going to be really good, because he's gotten better at that. But Damian Lillard needs to be an all-star every single year. There should be no reason why he should not be an all-star every year. Like, yeah. I don't care. So my point is that I want to bring up is MVP, or the all-star selections has become a bit of a popularity contest. I don't know if you agree with me.
Yeah. It's like if your team is doing good and you have decent numbers, you'll get in. Like, no hate to Sabonis, but he shouldn't have made it over Levine and
Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal was killing it last year.
Bradley Beal was top 4, like a top 4 shooting guard last year. You know, I think that was ridiculous, but I think he will make it this year. So like I said, Sabonis, his post moves are ridiculous. He's not like strong. He's not huge. When I see him, like, you know how usually you can judge a book by its cover. You look at him, you can tell someone's good or not. He does not look good. I look at him, first instinct is this guy is not good. But then you see him play and he doesn't miss. His footwork, he destroyed the Bulls. No one can stop him.
Well, that doesn't say a lot. The Bulls are trash defensively.
Yeah, Wendell Carter does not know how to guard anything in his life. Like, why they don't trade him, I have no idea.
Wendell needs to bulk up, man.
But Sabonis, we literally had no...
He worked him. His dad was a beast too, man. Arvidas, his dad was a beast.
That's true. Okay, I realized we had forgotten to go over this in the beginning of the podcast. I don't even know if you noticed or not. I want to take a mid-game segment. I hope you agree with this. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to go over the craziest trash talk that we have ever heard on the basketball court. So we've had a great deal of pickup games, some organized basketball games in our time. I'm sure you guys have all heard some crazy trash talk in your life. So Ibrahim, you can start. What's the craziest trash talk you've ever heard in the court?
Jimmy, you were here for this. I don't know if you actually heard it, but you know who this person is. Yeah. And if this person listens, they're going to know who they are.
Yeah.
Because this is something you don't forget.
Yeah.
Basically, we were playing pickup game, and some guy called a foul. And I told him that wasn't a foul. Normal basketball talk, you know. He called me soft. I said, you're soft for calling the foul. That wasn't even the smack talk. And I honestly was pissed because, like, who calls a foul on, like, a loose ball or something like that? It was some petty foul. And he's like, you look mad. And I was like, I'm really not, but I obviously was. He's like, you're going to go home and think about me and do a certain act while you think about me. And for all you guys will know what I'm talking about. And that is the most sus and the most weird thing I've heard on the basketball court. I don't even count that as like smack talk, but like, huh? I was confused. Like all my anger and my emotions like went away, and I was just like, what? I was so confused.
Yeah,
it was funny though.
Every time I think of like a crazy trash talk, I always think of, would Michael Jordan say this? Like, can I see myself here? If I can hear myself, Michael Jordan or Kobe saying that, that's fine. Okay. But that's weird. Like, that is, speaking of sus.
Gary Payton is like notably like probably the best trash talker ever.
Larry Bird too. Everyone says
Larry Bird. But Larry Bird had like a swagger to him because he was a white man, and he would like.
But he said he was going to score with his left hand one time, and he scored like 30 points.
And he would literally like get pissed when they'd have another white guy guarding him. He used to get pissed. Like, that's Larry Bird, man. Larry legend.
And remember, he told how he was going to beat them, and then he did. And the way he told him the move he was going to do, and he still beat him with that move. Anyway, for me, craziest trash talk I've ever heard. I was in 8th grade. Okay, I was on the basketball team, and I was power forward. This guy was guarding me, mouse in the house. All right, this is barbecue chicken. I'm trying to get inside post, but yeah. All right, mouse in the house post. For anyone who's listening with audio, trust me, that was not sus. We were just licking our fingers. Anyway, you're gonna be like, what the hell is that noise? Okay, so I'm trying to get inside post position. Hold on, what are you drinking out of?
It's a gallon jug of water.
I was not expecting that. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm trying to get inside position. I'm posting this guy up. He goes, bro, get your butts, or you know what he said, get your butt and stop grinding on me. I'm like, yo, we're in a basketball game trying to get post position. And me, being the person I am, I started posting him up even harder. And he hated it because I was in the post. And then they gave me the ball and I scored on him, and he just got so mad. He was on IFS. I doubt anyone from IFS is watching it, but that's CPSA's rival. I
don't have the jersey.
They suck at basketball. Well, at least now they do. Before, they had beaten us for like 10 straight years in basketball. CPSA, woo woo. Okay.
We got a better gym than you guys know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not officially, but whatever.
Good, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay. Ibrahim, you can segue us into our next topic.
So let's go team by team. And obviously, by every team, we'll talk about where they stand in the conference, where they think they're going to end up. Are they championship contenders, playoff contenders? So let's start with the East. And let's start with our hometown team, the Chicago Bulls. Go ahead, Jamin.
Okay. So the Chicago Bulls, every single year, like, I have so much hope for them. I always say we're getting the 8 seed. We're getting the 8 seed. We're getting the 8 seed. And it's still not too late, but our biggest problem is turnovers. And if we continue this, we are not getting in the 8 seed, and Zach LaVine is going to leave us.
Just like every other All-Star.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about the Bulls?
So go back 2 years. What was our main complaint? Like, aside from the team, what was our only complaint about the Chicago Bulls organization?
Front office.
Foreman and Pax. Those guys are out of the picture. Thank God. We have a new head coach. Thank God. We don't have sorry freaking Boylan anymore, who's so sorry. So sorry. Egghead looking. Sorry, Boylan, but it wasn't it, girl.
Dude.
Chief called it, ain't it?
Girl, you was not the one. Okay.
So we got Kornisovas now, who's the GM, and he hired Billy Donovan. That alone shows that the Bulls are moving in a good direction, right? Yeah. Just that move. Tack on the fact that we didn't re-sign Laurie. We're going to make him earn our his next contract. We signed Patrick Williams because we obviously need defense. We signed a bunch of 1 to 2 year players so we can restructure and get better players next year. So not talking about our team, like our players, we're in a good position. Now, moving to our players, exactly what you said. We can't play defense. We have too many turnovers. We get these wins just by like 1 or 2 plays when we should be blowing these teams out.
Yeah, and we also lose by a couple points as well. Yeah,
which is really frustrating. Like, there's no way why we should be losing to Golden State. Freaking Damian Lee hitting a buzzer beater, catching it. Like, we should be prepared for these moments, right?
We lost to LeBron by 1 basket. We lost to Kawhi by 1 basket.
Yeah. But, like, Damian Lee, like, come on. Like, I get he's an NBA player, but come on.
Yeah.
Come on. It's not even Courtney Lee. Like, come on now.
I legitimately think we have the talent to be able to make the playoffs. I mean, LaVine.
We should. I mean, the East
alone, that's a solid core. Right there. Yeah. Legitimately a solid core. We just need to trade for 1 7-footer. He doesn't even need to be amazing. He could be average. And I think we're legitimate contenders to go into the playoffs.
Well, in the meantime, if we develop Gafford, I think that's going to be a good start. Wendell obviously needs to be developed, but I really think we should be starting Daniel Gafford over Wendell.
Yeah. Yeah. Daniel Gafford, he's taller. He's more physical. His offensive game is a little more raw, but he's at least experimenting with his offensive game. Like, it feels like Wendell Carter is just doing random things.
He looks a little lost, man.
Yeah. Let's talk about the top 4 teams in the East. You ready for this? This is the current seedings. Number 1 are the Celtics, 8-3. Number 2 are the Bucks, 9-4. Number 3 are the Pacers, 8-4. And number 4 are the 76ers, 9-5.
Where's Miami in that mix?
Just Miami is ranked 11th. They're 4-7.
Huh. That makes sense. They're probably tired from the bubble and because it's such a short turnaround.
My hot take about Miami is that they did not deserve to have made it to the championship. Yeah, they worked hard. They beat all the other teams, but the bubble was so different. Someone said it the other day. I forgot which NBA player said it the other day. People in the bubble performed in ways they normally don't and probably shouldn't have. Like getting a 4-month break is pretty much an off season.
Yeah.
Yeah. But whatever, they made it there. I still wanted them to beat LeBron. Let's go back to the original question at hand. Celtics, Bucks, Pacers, and Sixers. Top 4 in that order.
Okay, so Celtics, I think them getting rid of what's his name, Cantor was big. Like it was bad for them because they needed bigs. Even though he can't play defense, they still need size.
Yeah.
Daniel Tice is not your go-to rim protector, right?
Celtics haven't had a good center in years.
Yeah. And getting rid of Al Horford makes a lot of sense because he's old and this and that. But at least try to get something back for him. Don't just let him walk.
Yeah, exactly. Next is the Bucks.
Go ahead, give your take on that, and I'll put in my 2 cents.
The Bucks are probably always going to be top 2 as long as they have Giannis on that team. I think they should have gotten Bogdanovich in the offseason. Or what was it, Bogdanovich? Yeah, the shooter. Yeah, Bogdanovich. I always give all the Viches. I always make Bogdanovich who ended up going to the Hawks.
Yep.
They needed him bad. I mean, he is a knockdown shooter. They really needed him, and they didn't get him. Giannis really needs him because if they can have 4 solid shooters or even 3 solid shooters, they are legitimate contenders because all Giannis needs to do, drive in, kick it out, drive in, kick it out, or drive in and score, dunk on you. That's all he does. And that's why the Bucks are consistently top 2. Number 3, the surprise.
Drew Holiday was a huge pickup for them.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday was a very good pickup for them, and I think that's what's going to put them over the top to go to the finals this year.
Yeah.
He is going to be big for them. So, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Next is the Pacers, but a lot of stuff just changed for them. They just lost Oladipo. They got Karis LeVert, but news just came out that Karis LeVert found a small mass on his kidney in the MRI. Because when you do a trade, they put you through a physical.
Yeah.
An MRI, and they found a quote unquote a small mass on his kidney. So obviously the thing that comes to everyone's mind is cancer. Hopefully it's not that. But he is going to be out indefinitely until they figure that out. So that only hurts them.
Wow.
Especially because they lost Oladipo.
Yeah.
So Sabonis is going to have to figure out how to be more dominant in the paint so that he can draw more attention to him. Okay.
Sixers.
Yeah, 76ers. What do you think about them? Joel Embiid. How do you think? What do you think?
First, I have an issue with Joel Embiid. He could probably be the most dominant center in the NBA.
He can be the most dominant in recent history.
Yeah. But the thing that makes me so mad is like, okay, I get you want to shoot threes like that, but get in the post, man. There's no one in there that can body you.
Have you seen how this guy is built? There's nobody in the NBA who is as tall as him, who is as built as him, who can legitimately stop him if he just threw his body in the paint.
He's very talented, and it doesn't like, I don't understand. Get in the post, draw the double team, right? Mm-hmm. Which brings me to my other thing is, if I'm Ben Simmons and I know my big man is good enough to post up and create and cause a double team, I need to work on a jumper. Doesn't have to be a 3. Just work on a mid-range. Get a mid-range going and then work your way out, right? Start inside, work your way out. You need to get a jump shot. Like, Jason Kidd, when he came in the league, everyone said he was a terrible shooter. And then I think by the end of his career, he was one of the best in 3-point percentage. So it's possible. Like, you just need to put in the work. That's my thing is, and that team isn't really deep either, so that also hurts them. But those two superstars alone need to do their part.
Yeah. One person on the 76ers is Tyrese Maxey, who has been picking it up for the 76ers.
Yeah.
His last 10 games, 32% from the three. I think he's averaging like 11 points a game or something like that. That's his overall, but that's because he's been picking up more minutes.
Dropped like 30, right?
Good. What's up?
He dropped like 30-some points, right, the other day?
Yeah. I don't know
when they were down 7 players.
Yeah. When they were only had 7. They almost won. They were close. For a team that they should have postponed that game. I don't know what the heck they were doing. But
did I tell you the story about when we went to a CPSA tournament? It was a tournament within our league in high school. We played at CPSA, obviously, and it was only 5 players, like me and 4 other players, played in this tournament.
What?
Yeah, and we played like 3 or 4 games, and they were all back to back because like Universal was cheap and they were trying to like get us tired and stuff.
Yeah.
We ended up playing a team from MPEC that came from Dubai.
No way.
Yeah, they ended up coming. They did like the whole like slapping the floor and like screaming ritual pregame. We're like, what the heck? We ended up beating them by like 30.
No way.
Yeah, it was crazy. But that's what it reminded me of when they said we're down the 7th play. I was like, dang, it's like that CPSA tournament we played in.
That pregame ritual reminds me of the FIBA World Cup when we went against New Zealand. And they did the pregame ritual, and you had Derrick Rose and James Harden staring up like, what's
That's
that?
exactly what it was to us. We're like, what is going on? The FIBA World Cup.
Yeah, it was the FIBA World Cup.
Yeah.
I hope we were supposed to get a great team for the Olympics, and the Corona happened. It was supposed to be like LeBron, Curry, Harden. Just those 3 alone would have won us gold. But whatever.
Insane.
Let's move on to the main topic of discussion: the best big man of all time. Well, the first thing is, how do you define the best? Is it stats for seasonal, or is it career stats? Is it rings? Is it the era they were in? First start off with who it is and why you think it's him.
Go ahead. You go first. It's a lot to take in, I know.
Anything I say is going to be met with severe backlash. Wilt for me is in there.
Okay.
Shaq for me is in there.
Okay.
And Hakeem Olajuwon for me is in there.
You're not throwing Kareem.
Look, I got beef with Kareem. Because everyone always talks about, why don't we bring the old centers back, the ground and pound, post up, dunk on everyone. Kareem never did that. Kareem was Mr. Skyhook. That man was never known for ground and pound. Maybe in the beginning of his career when he was a little more physical, he had a little bit of that.
In college he was, and on the Bucks he was, but he got older when he went to LA, so he started doing.
He wasn't Mr. Ground and Pound. Like, when I think of dominant
he was
centers,
skinnier too.
Yeah. When I think of dominant centers, I think of Wilt, Hakeem, and Shaq is probably the most dominant of all time, given his stats and the era.
Yeah.
But the reason I put Wilt in there, his stats almost seem fake. His stats almost seem like, I don't get it. I think his career ended by injury, which is why he's not like number 1 in scoring all time. But those single season stats and some of those MVPs that he lost, I don't get it. Like I don't know what they were looking at back then for them to say this guy averaging 40 points a game does not get 45 points a game, does not get MVP. But
my man was playing against freaking cashiers, still couldn't get MVP.
Yeah. No, if I had to pick one, probably Shaq.
Okay.
Probably because he got the three-peat. He was arguably the leader of that Lakers team. I would say Shaq, just because he was dominant and he was in my opinion, a more difficult era.
Okay. I think what you said obviously makes sense, right? But I think when you look at the greatest of all time, or you look at things like who's the greatest big man, the greatest point guard, I think it's fair and only fair to do it by era, right? Maybe this is me doing it so I don't get shit for whatever my answer is. But honestly, like if you look at, so you talked about Wilt. Wilt's era of basketball was completely different than what it is now, and completely different than the 90s. Like you look at how Jerry West played. We talked about this off camera. Jerry West is the logo, right? He's looking hold on. He's looked at like a god. He was in his era, he was great. But you look at his mixtape and you're like, what? This guy's the logo? It doesn't make sense.
For all those listening, the logo would not make D1 basketball. Maybe not D3.
No. So, long story short, I think it's only fair to take everything into account, like stat wise and rings and all that stuff, and then you can't just say, well, Kareem was the best of all time, best big man of all time. I think it's fair and only fair to say by era. But if we're going to entertain this of all time, I'm obviously going to go with Kareem. I mean, the man was dominant in the sense that he has the most points, and it doesn't look like anyone's going to surpass that. Maybe LeBron will, but he needs to average like, I think 21 to 20 some points every game for the next God knows how long. Right? Yeah. And he's looking healthy and he's looking good. He may be able to do it, but until then, no one's been able to like attack that. So I'm going with Kareem. That skyhook, no one's stopping that except Wilt, but Wilt goaltended on that block.
Okay. Yeah, he did. But one thing I wanted to throw out is some Bill Russell slander. Listen, Shaq loves him. The man's got 11 rings, but this man had Hall of Famers on his bench. There were only like 7 teams in the NBA. There were like,
but he was a good athlete though.
He was good at running, blocking. Yeah, defense was his thing.
For an undersized big man, that's a big deal too.
Come on, he had like every all-star on his team. He had the entire league on his team. Every good player was on his team.
My man was a coach too, bro.
He coached the team. I'm sorry. I'm taking Wilt over Kareem and Bill Russell any day. You put Wilt on those Celtics teams, bro, they would have gone undefeated in the finals. I think he was 11-2, Bill Russell. I think he lost 2 or maybe even a little more than that in between. But like the fact that you're going to make how many straight finals appearances, that's not even fair. I don't know. I don't even think you can include Bill Russell. I think Bill Russell gets babied by a lot of the 90s centers. Like he'll maybe not babied, but
this man is roasting 11-time champion.
He's gonna get destroyed by Hakeem, that up and under. Okay, Shaq, I think, is destroying him.
Yeah, the Dream Shake was dirty, bro.
Yeah. What's it called? He's never gonna score on Dennis Rodman. Imagine the.
I mean, never is a big word, but Dennis Rodman was a beast on defense. I mean, he put in work against Shaq. So yeah, I see what you're saying.
What's his name? The whole 90s Pistons team, he would have died injured. You see how skinny that guy was? Bill Russell is not physically surviving.
Bill Laimbeer would have flicked him and he would have flying.
And that Dennis Rodman was even crazier. No.
Yeah.
Look, hold on. Let me look up Bill Russell's scoring stats, and then I want you guys to tell me. This man didn't score. Hold on.
Okay, in the meantime, while you do that, most dominant, obviously, I'm going to go with Shaq as well. Shaq is by far the most dominant big man we've ever seen so far. Like, man was huge, freaking huge.
Yeah.
And he had post game, and he was athletic on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he dipped out after winning 3 in LA, went to Miami, won 1, which is really controversial to, that finals was controversial with the Phantom Foul and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. Still got the ring. Very, very dominant big man, but all time, I'm going Kareem.
Okay.
Abdul-Jabbar.
So I got the stats. This man averaged 15 points a game for his career. What? I mean, given he only averaged 4 assists, but it says
15 assists?
4 assists.
Oh.
15 points a game. But listen to this. He averaged 22.5 rebounds a game, total rebounds.
Okay, then.
Still. Okay.
And still, 15 and 20, well, essentially 23 rebounds is crazy though.
Hold on. Let me pull up Wilt then, and then no one can tell me.
Yeah, but Bill Russell was a freak of an athlete too, man.
Let me pull this up. Okay. Wilt, 27.6 points and 23.9 rebounds. I don't want to hear a single specimen tell me that Bill Russell was better than Wilt. Ever in my entire... Let me pull up Kareem stats.
All right, you're disrespecting Bill Russell, but I am taking Wilt Chamberlain over Bill Russell any day. But don't disrespect Bill Russell, man.
I think it's too exaggerated, bro. Kareem, 24.6 and 11.2. Given he did probably play in a harder era towards the end of his career. But
yeah,
whatever. We've been on this for too long.
But I wanted to ask you, so do you think the big man, like the traditional ground and pound post up big man, is like a lost art?
Yeah. I think it's a lost art, which
well, in the sense, sorry, I should rephrase. In the sense that like we have completely moved away from that post game, like ground and pound big man, and then we're not going to kind of shift back to it. That's what I meant.
We can't shift back to it. Number one reason is because of Steph Curry. Steph Curry changed I'm not even joking. Steph Curry, his shooting changed everyone. Everyone wants to shoot threes. Everyone is about shooting now. Literally, mostly because of Steph Curry. Kobe Bryant had a decent influence on it, but I think it's Steph Curry. The way he shoots, everyone wants to be like him. You got middle schoolers pulling up from half court for no reason. Okay, which begs the question of, would these big men survive in today's NBA? I'm going to start with Bill Russell. He averaged 11 points a game back then. Do you think he's going to average more than 5 points a game now? Don't even. I don't want to hear it. No player is going to average 22 rebounds a game.
Listen,
whether it's Wilt or Bill.
I think the two big men you mentioned, as in survive, I don't know what you mean, like being able to shoot the ball and be able to have the same stats.
The same dominance? Are they going to have?
Okay, I think some big men will, and let me tell you who. Arvydas Sabonis, had he stayed healthy, could shoot the ball, could play in the post. Derek Coleman could shoot the ball, play in the post. A guy like those type of players, like a Jokic type of player who's not super athletic. Granted, Derek Coleman was a freak of nature. He played for the Nets. I don't know if you know who Derek Coleman is. He was on the same team as Drazen Petrovic.
Okay.
Derek Coleman was the only guy Shaq claimed to ever dunk on him.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Him. So guys like those, I think they can survive in the league now. And I think if anything, they would, collect the bag or however these kids say it. Secure the bag.
Who would be more dominant, Wilt or Kareem? I think Wilt.
Yeah, obviously Wilt, because he's playing against friggin' cashiers, bro, from the local Burkotts. What do you think?
Played against his local deli clerks. By the way, me and him were deli clerks together.
Slicing ham at day, playing an NBA game at night.
I think Wilt would do better right now than Kareem.
Oh, in this era?
Yeah.
It's tough.
So what do you think?
I don't know. I want to go Kareem, but that's probably a little biasness because he's a brother.
Yeah, but he did have an unstoppable skyhook, which I don't know if anyone can stop today.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no one was able to stop it. Not even Wilt. Wilt tried doing it, but he was goaltending every time he did it. Literally, he was goaltending. On the way down, he would swat it back up.
Yeah. And then quick question before we move on. Who is the best big man right now?
The obvious answer is Anthony Davis. But I'm taking Jokic.
Thank you.
Overall skill set?
Thank you. Yeah.
Overall, Jokic. Once he's been losing weight and he's been looking a lot better. And he was freaking wrecking the Lakers last year in the bubble. Mm-hmm. My man was hitting like freaking Dirk-like shots, other way. Dirk-like shots from the 3-point line, just as bailout shots and cashing them. And he was like acting like it's normal.
Bro, I'm going with Jokic. I'm looking at his stats right now. his stats are still getting better. He's an MVP candidate, in my opinion. He went from 19.9 points per game to 24.2. He went from 1.2 steals to 1.9, 7 assists to 10.4 assists, bro. 9.7 rebounds to 11.2. This man is averaging a triple-double.
Yeah, he's putting up better numbers. It's hard too, man, for him to get his recognition because Denver doesn't really got a lot of TV time.
Yeah, and Denver isn't doing that hot right now. Let me see.
They never really do. They just make the playoffs and then they like start killing it in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they're kind of like, they're like the Spurs, man. They don't really like do anything crazy. They just make the old Spurs. Now they're kind of like.
I think Jokic is the best passing big, maybe of all time. Unless I'm forgetting somebody.
I'm pretty sure there's people on like that we're gonna have on these shows that are gonna be able to give us history, like my boy Eddie D. If you're listening to this, we're gonna have you on.
For sure.
Educate us.
For sure.
But probably for our era, because we've never seen anyone like him with his size and that skill set to be able to dribble. He essentially plays like a point guard. Like he has the handles of a guard, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So I think he is the best passing big in the league, and I think he's probably one of the best passers in the league in general too. I'll put him up there with like, the typical point guards, the CP3s, the Rondos, those guys.
Yeah.
The LeBrons.
Okay, 1 second. Now we're gonna play a game called Start Bench Cut. Where I'm gonna pull up some NBA comparisons that I'm finding from Instagram, and you're going to give me your start bench cut. So first we have Nikola Vucevic, Andre Drummond, and DeAndre Ayton.
Start bench cut?
Yeah.
You said Vucevic, Ayton, and who was the third one?
Drummond.
All right, I'm starting DeAndre Ayton because his ceiling is freaking high. Man is only 3-4 years in the league?
Mm-hmm.
Super young. He's a babyface assassin.
That's literally Curry, but whatever.
Yeah, for real. But he literally looks like a baby. Like, if you look at his face, it looks like a baby.
Yeah.
Drummond has been killing it, bro. He's been putting up insane numbers for the Cavs. But I'm going to have to go with Vucevic because of what he did last season in the bubble. Everyone forgot how good he was.
Yeah, he's been averaging around 20 points per game for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
He's having his best year right now. I would completely agree. Start Ayton, bench Vucevic, cut Drummond.
Okay, let me give you one. Let me give you one. Yeah. I've been thinking about all in their prime, start bench cut, right? We're not talking about injuries here.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose,
mm-hmm.
Allen Iverson,
uh-huh.
Steph Curry. Start bench cut.
All in their primes.
No injuries. They're all healthy.
I think in his prime, Steph Curry was arguably the greatest point guard of all time.
Which he probably still is in his prime, right? I mean, he's not.
I mean, he scores at will. This guy, like, you can tell when he's trying and not trying. And when he tries, he doesn't miss. I'm taking Curry, start. This is annoying because Derrick Rose is my favorite player of all time.
That's why I asked you. I wanted to see what you're going to say.
Derrick Rose in his prime was legitimately able to carry a team, but
which he
Allen
did.
Iverson carried a team to the championship.
And he got snubbed. They were going to win that. They were going to win that series
against the Lakers.
Yes.
Why? What happened? Well, anyway, I'm going to bench Iverson and I'm going to probably cut Rose.
Actually, I take it back. They probably weren't going to win the series, but they probably would have went to at least 5-6 games.
They went to 5 because he won the first game because he scored like 60 points or something.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They would have went to 7. Sorry.
Okay.
I have to edit that out.
Would you agree with me or?
I'm starting AI.
Okay.
And I'm benching D Rose, and I'm going to cut Curry.
Wow.
I think, first of all, Curry is not clutch. Statistically speaking, he is not clutch. You and I both know this.
Yeah.
It was proven every single finals year. The man did not play the same way he plays in the regular season.
Yeah.
Allen Iverson, clutch. Derrick Rose, clutch. Steph Curry, I think he's like 0 for something or 1 or 2. Like he is such a trash percentage for like clutch shots.
Yeah. Okay.
So
next one. We're gonna fly through these as fast as you can. Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, all in their primes.
starting MJ, I'm cutting Kobe, or I'm starting MJ, benching Kobe, and cutting LeBron.
Who would I want?
And that's me being biased. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm starting MJ, probably benching LeBron and cutting Kobe. I love Kobe. I got my man up here.
RIP.
But LeBron, if I'm looking for wins, I need LeBron. Okay. Butler, Booker, and Kemba Walker. Jimmy Butler, Devin Booker, Kemba Walker, as fast as you can.
Starting Jimmy, benching Booker, cutting Kemba Walker. That one's easy.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, all in their primes, AI, Wade, and Harden. And I mean like 60-point triple-double Harden. Like, was it 60 or 50? One of those.
All right, starting AI, benching D Wade, cutting James Harden. I do not like James Harden one bit.
I'm switching.
He's a great player.
I'm saying AI, Harden, and Wade.
I don't agree.
All in their primes, Lillard, Luka, and Russell Westbrook.
Okay, I'm going to start off with cutting Westbrook, first of all, but I'm starting Luka. I think I'm going to have to start Luka, and I'm going to bench Dame Dalla.
Are you on drugs?
I love Dame Dalla, but
Bro,
I'm starting Luka.
You are on drugs. Okay, hold on. Do you remember the teams that Russell Westbrook led to the playoffs? Like,
No. I'm cutting Westbrook, bro.
okay.
And this is nothing about that. What the media is saying about him. Luka is just a whole different beast. So is Dame Dalla, man.
Starting Westbrook, benching Luka, cutting Lillard. Okay, last one, and then we'll end it. We'll end it here because we're approaching a little long. Okay. We have. Ooh, you're gonna love this one. Joakim Noah, Pau Gasol, Ben Wallace.
Yo, Joakim Noah is my guy, first of all.
Yeah.
Okay, he's my guy. So you said Joakim Noah, Ben Wallace, and who?
Pau Gasol.
I'm gonna.
Pau Gasol never really dominated games, in my opinion.
But Pau Gasol was a beast, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get so much shit for this, but I don't care. I'm starting Ben Wallace, and I'm benching Joakim Noah, and I'm gonna cut Pau Gasol. Even though Pau Gasol's a champion and he's a proven winner, Joakim Noah's my guy.
Full bias, I don't care. But yeah, that was it for today's episode. We hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to be on or you know someone that should be on, drop them in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching or listening for whichever platform you're on. Thank you guys.
Last thing, comment your star bench cuts, what you guys think.
Yeah.
Comment your craziest smack talk story.
Yeah.
We want to hear them. Later, everybody.
Peace.